Aloha and welcome back to Yama Studios. My name is Hannah Maruyama. I am a scalp micropigmentation practitioner at Yama Studios, which is a paramedical tattoo clinic on Oahu in Honolulu, Hawaii. Today, I'm going to be answering one of the most frequently asked questions about scalp micropigmentation, and that is, can I grow out my hair after scalp micropigmentation? The answer is yes. You can do whatever you like with your own hair. Now, a lot of whether or not you should do it depends on the style that you have decided to go with. If your thinning is concentrated on the sides of your head, then absolutely, you can grow out the hair on top of your head to complement your SMP. It's very easy to recreate the look of a fade if your thinning is concentrated on the lower part of your scalp and you still have hair remaining on the top of your head. Even if that means that the hair on top of your head is diffuse, which means that it's not as thick as it used to be, you can still pull off growing your hair out on top. Now, if your thinning was concentrated on the top of your head or towards the back, it's going to be very difficult for you to pull off as natural a look. Now, when people say grow their hair out after SMP, I think a lot of times what people think they have to do is go over with a big razor and just shave their entire head. Now, that's not the case. You do not have to keep your head that close shaved. It'd be very easy, and actually I recommend this, to just grab a good foil shaver that you like and keep that either at your house or in your car, wherever is routine for you to just run it over your head every once in a while, and to maintain not a super close shave, but a rough close shave in order to really embrace the realism of your scalp micropigmentation. Because it looks best if your thinning was concentrated on the top of your head or on the back, to lean into that and just go ahead and buzz everything and then allow the scalp micropigmentation to really be utilized in order to reconstruct your hairline and make it look like you don't have any hair loss. So that's something, if you are having that type of balding, you have the ability to do. Now, if you don't want to shave your head and you're suffering from thinning that is both on the top and back of your head, I would advise you to think carefully about whether or not scalp micropigmentation is a good idea for you at this time. Sometimes you might need to have a little bit more hair loss before you're ready to commit to a certain style. That said, I find that most people get to a point where worrying about maintaining a style with a lot of hair loss involved is really exhausting. And so finally just committing to SMP really takes a lot of active worry off of your plate. So you can grow your hair out after SMP because you can do whatever you want to do with your hair. That said, I do find that it's best if you're going to commit to SMP and your hair loss is mostly localized to the top and back of your scalp, I would advise committing to keeping your hair pretty close shaven in order to take advantage of the scalp micropigmentation. If your hair is completely intact, but you have diffuse thinning, which means that you have all over thinning, but you still maintain a decent hairline, then yes, you can grow your hair as much as you want. At the point where it's concentrated thinning in patches, you do need to commit to a consistent look in order to mitigate the effects of the hair loss. So that's something that's worth considering because it's really individual and depends on the person. Now, we did talk a lot about people who have a little bit shorter hair. There are hairstyles that are exceptions to this. I do find that there are certain long styles that can mesh well with scalp micropigmentation. Now, for women, this is a little bit different because women's thinning tends to be located either on the temples or right here on the crown of the head. So those are very easy to use SMP and maintain the length of your hair. Now, this is the one that I find looks really good with scalp micropigmentation if your hair is long. And that is, if your hairline is only slightly back, then you can lean into a style where it looks like you did shave the front. Now, the style I'm talking about is dreadlocks. If you do have dreadlocks and your hairline is receding, this is really common with dreadlocks because it can create a little bit of traction alopecia just because of the weight of the dreadlocks. This is actually something that's a really good solution for you because it doesn't look unusual for folks to shave the front part of their head and maintain dreadlocks. That's actually really common. That is one style I do find looks really good with scalp micropigmentation. And then for women, obviously, if you do have long hair with localized thinning, then SMP is a really good solution for you as well. And you can continue to grow your hair as long as you want. Other than that, though, it's really individual and just depends on the style you have. Now, scalp micropigmentation can work well with most hairstyles. So this isn't a hard and fast rule, and it really depends on what your hair looks like. And that's something that's worth coming to a practitioner and seeing what they can do with the style that you currently have or the style you want to have. Now, if you're asking this question, I do think it's closely related to another question I get fairly often, which is, do I have to be totally bald in order to have scalp micropigmentation? I'll link that video below as well because I do think that has some crossover insights as to what I'm talking about now. But the answer is yes, you can grow your hair out if you have scalp micropigmentation, and you don't have to be totally bald in order to have scalp micropigmentation. There's no hard and fast rules with this treatment. Most people can use it in some capacity, if not a complete capacity. So it's something that's a really flexible tool that you can use to combat hair loss, however it affects you the most. So I hope that that answered your question about whether or not you can grow your hair out after you've had scalp micropigmentation. If you have further questions about this, questions, comments, feedback, go ahead and drop those in the comments below. And if you want to get into contact with me because you're in Hawaii, on Oahu, and you're interested in having a consultation to see how I would advise you to see what strategy you and I could come up with to combat your hair loss, then please go ahead and shoot me a DM on Instagram, send me a Facebook message, or contact me via email on my website, which is below. It's yamastudios.co. Now, if you like this video, hit that big thumbs up and subscribe because I will be posting more of these. And if it's something you're researching, stay tuned because I'm going to keep talking about scalp micropigmentation so that you have more information to make this decision with. Thank you so much for watching, and aloha.